What's up, guys? Today on All Sports Central, we're going to be going over a final prediction on Iowa State. This team last season overall did really good compared to how they have been in recent years. The last couple of years for this team really have been pretty good. They went 8-5 last year, but they returned their 2018 quarterback Brock Purdy. Lose running back Montgomery to the NFL, so that's going to be a little bit tough there for the running back position, especially since they didn't really have a second running back. I mean, they had another running back that played, but he only had like 180 yards last season. So really, this running back position will look a little bit inexperienced next season. The wide receiver position could be a little bit weaker as well. They do lose Butler to the NFL. They do have Milton and Jones. They're their wide receiver 2 and 3s. And so that will be helpful to this team. Purdy will have a decent amount of weapons, it seems like, even though he's losing Butler. Because Butler was a really good receiver. He put up over 1,000 yards last season. So that's going to be a tough loss there. But offense ranked 86th overall in 2018, so really that's not very good. There are 128 teams in the FBS, and so that kind of puts you in the bottom third overall for Iowa State. So you got to improve that offense. You're going to have a better offense if you're going to make it to a Big 12 championship game next season. It'll be interesting to see what happens there, especially with the losses at the running back position and also losing Butler as well. That'll be interesting to see how they can cope with that. But will the offense improve in 2019? I think it's possible. I mean, it's definitely possible. When you return your quarterback, you did really well last season. I think that's going to be helpful to this team. Defensive-wise, they returned their top back, or their defensive back, Eisworth, so that's going to be helpful. They lose their top linebacker in Harvey, along with Peavy. So those were their top two linebackers, I believe. And they returned most of their key defensive players, but really their defense will be the right spot for this team in 2019 as they rank 31st overall in 2018. But how far can this team get in 2019 is the real question. Really, I mean, Iowa State's going to be at the top of the Big 12, I feel like. It's going to be tough to beat past Texas or Oklahoma. I mean, this is going to be a team I think we're going to see more of a similar season to 2018 here. I don't see them doing anything crazy like making it to the Big 12 championship game, but really, I mean, it's still a possibility that they could get close to that. But Oklahoma and Texas will just be two good teams next season, I think. I think it's pretty clear cut that those two teams will be in the Big 12 championship next season once again. But really, surprises do happen in college football, even though I'm kind of confident on that one. Iowa State will be in the running for that. They do got to win their very key games against Oklahoma and Texas if they're going to make it anywhere. Purdy's stats. He had 2,200 yards last season, 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So really, for him this season, he needs to improve that interception-touchdown ratio. Really, 16 touchdowns, that's decent, I guess. I mean, considering he had 2,200 yards, but still 7 interceptions. If he could lower that a little bit more, that would be very great and very helpful to this team for sure in the long run. Montgomery had 1,300 yards as a rusher last season. That is excellent. So that's going to be a very tough loss there. Butler had 1,300 yards last season as well as a receiver, 9 touchdowns. And then Milton and Jones were your wide receiver 2 and 3s from last season. They really relied on Butler and Montgomery for the running back and wide receiver positions. So it's going to be a tough loss there, 2 very tough losses. But Milton and Jones will need to step it up this season. I think they will be able to. I think both of those could receive, or both of those wide receivers should receive about the same action. I mean, considering Jones kind of went on with 4 touchdowns and Milton only had 1, but Milton had more yards. Really, I think that's going to really be a good duo there for the wide receiver position for Iowa State. Looking at your schedule here, you start off the season Northern Iowa. That's going to be an easy one there, I think. Then you already have a bye week right off the bat, so you really your second game is in week 3 this season, and that's going to be against Iowa. That is going to be a huge game. I think that this game is going to be highly motivating for both teams. Both teams are really going to want it. But I think Iowa State being at home, and I think Iowa, I mean, they kind of got a little bit of a bouncy team this year. I think Iowa State gets the win there at home. It's going to be a tough one, meaning it's going to be below 13 points of a win. But I think Iowa State does get it done. They do beat Iowa on September 14th. Louisiana Monroe, easy win there, not much to talk about. Baylor then on September 28th. I think that one can kind of catch some people, I think. Baylor's a team that I expect to actually improve this season. Not many people are saying that. But really, they're returning excellent talent on their offense. I mean, I kind of high on this Baylor team next season. I think they'll be able to be possibly top 5 in the Big 12. I don't expect them to do anything crazy. but I do expect that team to be kind of a dangerous one in the Big 12 that no one's really talking about. You're going to lose that one. TCU then at home, you'll win that one easier. And I think even though TCU, I think they'll be okay. They'll probably be a top 6 team possibly next season in the Big 12. But still, I think Iowa State gets it done there. West Virginia, interesting one there on the road. I don't really expect much out of West Virginia this season, though. They're just losing way too much talent. I mean, we saw how they did in their bowl game without Will Grier. So I think that's a little bit of a preview of what you can expect from West Virginia this season. I don't expect that to be much of an easy win by any means, though. I mean, with it being on the road. So Iowa State, watch out for that one. Texas Tech on the road, I think you take a little bit of a fall there. Not much to say about that team. I mean, they do return some decent talent. Oklahoma State then at home. That'll be a tougher win, but you'll get it done there as well. Oklahoma and Texas, your 2 big games of the season. You got to win one of them for sure. I mean, Iowa State fans are probably going to want to win one of those games at least. I mean, especially with having Texas at home. That's a great opportunity. But I think you're going to take losses in both of those. I mean, for both of those teams, they're going to be extremely motivated coming to the final weeks of the season to keep those top 2 pole positions in the Big 12. And so I think that those 2 will be losses. If you're going to beat any one of those teams, though, I think it'll end up being that Texas game. Having Texas at home, I think, and that could very well be a very big game in the Big 12. But I think Texas ends up winning that. Kansas and Kansas State, 2 games there that I think will be easier wins. Kansas State will be a little bit tougher, though, with it being on the road, but I think you still win both of those. Record-wise, they're going to go 8-4 next year, so overall, still pretty good. You kind of did that last season as well, getting 8 wins, and so I don't really expect them to do anything crazy. Losing too much talent on the offense. I mean, their defense is going to be great, but really the offense, though, you got to fix that up a little bit, and so I think otherwise, we're looking at 8-4 next season for Iowa State. You'll probably finish, I'm going to say, 3rd in the Big 12 next year. You're probably going to be tied for 8-4. With probably either TCU or Oklahoma State, I'd have to say. Baylor could be in there. Baylor probably would be like 4 or 5, but it'll be interesting to see how this Big 12 fares out next season. Really looking forward to that. Once again, Iowa State's going 8-4 next season. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this team in the comments below. Once again, another interesting team to look forward to in the Big 12. We're going over college football previews right now, also a few NFL previews, so stay tuned for those. We only have a week left until the season officially starts on this channel. We'll be starting up next Monday with our Week 0 rankings, as we do have a football game coming up Saturday the 24th. And so we'll start up before that game on the 24th is, and then we can kind of go over some analysis. We'll go over some previews as well for Week 1 kind of early. So yeah, this is basically the last week of off season here. And so yeah, once again, thank you guys all for watching. Very excited for the season. I'll be sure to subscribe. There will be lots of uploads coming up over the next few months. Once again, thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you all later.